My mana is gone.
Hello Exiles and welcome. I just want to make this short update about what I am going to be playing in patch 3.29 in the new league. And as you've probably seen, unless I will put the gameplay at the end of the video, I am going to play Kinetic Blast again, specifically Deadeye. The reason is that Legion got kind of a mini rework, and Kinetic Blast is pretty undisputed one of the best Legion builds in the game. The KB as a skill is just really, really good for damage projection, and it is what matters most in doing Legion. So what is the setup that I use? Well, it boils down to it pretty much has a budget of whatever Inspired Learning costs early. The rest of the gear is relatively cheap or self-farmable. Piscators is like a couple Chaos Wand, couple Chaos Shield, couple Chaos Belt. Death Rush can cost like a div. If you want a 3-second one, it's more expensive, but 2 seconds is more than enough for Legion, for example. And then the rares are mostly just, fill out resistances, tributes and stuff. But I actually way overcapped on intelligence, so most of these things with like suffixes, they're actually not necessary. Right? These items are way better than what my character actually needs. So none of this is really anything special. I think the most expensive thing on these would be like rolling the rage on hit implicits on the gloves probably. And you can farm the Eldritch Embers for those pretty easily yourself. The armor is also pretty decent, but I've deliberately only made it a 5-link. And you can usually pretty easily buy a solid defensive rare chest piece, so long as it is not 6-linked on day one. So when do you swap to this build, or how do you level it? Well, I generally would not recommend leveling with this at all, under any circumstance. In general, the earliest I think you could swap to this without it feeling awful is after your third lap, roughly at level 65 or so. I would not recommend doing that. I would actually recommend you play a completely different build until you have Inspired Learning, basically. This is when this kind of KB Deadeye setup really comes together and really starts popping off in maps. What can you play until then? If you want a like somewhat similar playstyle, you can just go Lightning Arrow. Bows are a lot better for kind of early progression because you have a lot more damage, just raw single target damage. And even though the clear speed is worse, having it worse and having clear speed doesn't matter if you can't otherwise get damage, right? KB doesn't have the easiest time getting DPS early on, especially now that it's nerfed for next league. So I would really recommend playing Lightning Arrow if you want something similar. I personally will play something completely different. I will play Poison Concoction on Pathfinder and then do a full respec once I'm roughly at this gear level, which will be at some point during day one probably. But if you really want to play it as early as possible, end of campaign, for that I would say just don't. So yeah, that's about it for my plans so far. I will have a POB in the description. It has multiple loadouts, one for early game, one for mid game. Those two I think are pretty locked in. And then kind of end game ones I will tinker with as I progress through the league. So yeah, I hope you have a great league start and goodbye.